Hey guys, Kev here, and I'm ready to do my first impressions of the Chaves 229. This is the one I recently bought on the Reddit knife swap. I picked this up for $280, and I've had it for, I think, about a week now. I'm really liking it, so I wanted to give you my kind of first thoughts on it for carrying it a little bit. Couple days I've carried it, and I also wanted to start by doing a comparison between the version that Kyle from DTOM Knives Gear sent me as a loaner. This was before I bought this, so I got his in as a loaner because I always wanted to check out a Chaves knife, and I've always been intrigued by them. But I never pulled the trigger, one, because they're pretty expensive. You know, they're right around the $300 mark, and they're very right-handed, as we know. You can't reverse the clip. They have this crazy skull clip on them. They're thumb stud operated with a frame lock. All of those things are pretty much negatives as a lefty. That's something I want to talk about soon. I'll probably do another one of those lefty knife talk videos and talk about how thumb stud knives versus flippers work for a lefty, right-handed thumb stud knives and right-handed flippers. I think it's an interesting topic because I really do have an opinion one way or the other, which I prefer. So anyway, we'll be talking about that at some point. But it's a very right-handed knife, so I was always hesitant. And then I got Kyle's in, and I could barely open this thing at first. I didn't understand. I thought the detent was way too strong. And then I figured out it's the lock bar pressure. So I must have been putting a little bit of pressure on this lock bar when I go to push the thumb stud. Again, because I'm left-handed, I'm not coming from this side. So I put a little pressure there, and you cannot get this out. So you have to avoid the lock bar and then flip it out. And it still has a strong detent, a bit stronger than this, not that much stronger, but definitely a bit stronger. I can Spidey flick this one. I have to maneuver my hands a little bit because, again, the lock bar, but this one, I can't even get close to Spidey flicking it because the detent is just so strong. Yeah, I can't. So anyway, I wanted to talk about the comparisons. Now, I'm going to point them out to you real quick, briefly, and then I'm going to go to a desktop view that I filmed earlier showing them up close, so you can get a better view of it. So to start, the pivot screws are different on both sides. This one's more round-topped, and this one's more flat. Well, the M390 markings are different. The G10 one here on the bottom has a larger M390 marking. And then the Tonto blade grind is a little different. This Tonto point right here is on this one. This stretch from here to there is a little bit longer than it is on this one. So I don't know if the choil is a little bigger or if the edge is a little bit longer there, but you'll see that in the other view. And then the last one is the spine thickness. On this one, up here where the swedge is, it's a little bit thicker blade stock than it is on this one here. And again, it's going to be really hard to see here. I'm going to show it to you on the desktop view. So real quick, I'm going to switch over to that now, and I'll be right back. All right, so I just want to quickly show a comparison of these two up close. You can see they are both the same model and size, the Chaves 229. I'm sure I already blathered on about that for a while. I just want to show you the differences up close. So here's the 229 in titanium with the bronzed anodized scales and this cool key design on here. This one is Kyle from DTOM Knives and Gears knife, And let me open it up here. Detent's stronger on that one. That's one difference. And the pivot screw is another difference. And the M390 marking is another difference. And the last one is the Tanto grind. I'll show you that. I'll show you all of them, but I just wanted to kind of give you a look at both up close first. This is the black G10 model. This one is mine. I recently got. All right. So first difference is the pivot screw. You can see here, the one on the left has kind of a step or pyramid on top, and this one is more flat. Hope you can see that. Second difference is the M390 marking. You can see the one on the left is a little bigger than the one on the right. Try to show you this in a better way without cutting myself. There you go. So the one on top is a little bit smaller than the one on bottom. It's a little hard to tell from this angle, but it definitely is smaller. The other difference I noticed was on the Tanto grind. If you look carefully, when I line these up, the titanium one on the right, this Tanto point right here starts out a little bit farther. You see that? They are lined up. And that tip starts a little bit farther out. So that's the difference. And the last one, at least it's hard to tell, but to me it looks like the swedge up there is a little bit thicker stock on the titanium version than it is on the G10. You see that? If you look right here at the spine, it looks a little bit thicker on the swedge. Not on the actual blade stock back here, it's the same, but up on that swedge, it's a little bit thicker there. So those are the differences I've seen. And I'm going to go back to the face cam. So hope you guys got a good view there. Catch you in a second. All right, so I'm back. And you guys could see the differences there up close. I hope you could see the differences there up close. And that's pretty much, you know, the comparison between these two. One of the main differences is the weight. This one is a bit lighter than this one. I did not have time to look that up, but I'm pretty sure this one's right around 6 ounces and this one's probably 6.5. There's probably about half an ounce difference between these two if I had to guess. And that makes perfect sense because you have G10 and then you have titanium on this one. So those are the main differences. My assumption here is that this is from the last run of 229s that Chaves and Riot did, and this is from the newer drop that they came out with just, you know, a month or so ago. So that's my assumption, and they made a couple of, you know, small changes to their manufacturing over at Riot, one of which is probably the detent. They lighten that up a little bit. You can see, I mean, you can't see, but this one takes a little bit more to get out, but it's not as bad as I made it out to be in some of my other videos. So I'm sorry, Kyle, I made fun of your knife, but it's all good. All right, so I'm gonna put this away. This is probably gonna be the last time you guys see this. Although I might do a little goodbye video with this and the sheepdog he sent me, along with that giant Midgard's Messer Viking. I really think that knife is funny. But so the Chaves, first impressions. I am really loving this knife. There are a lot of downsides to it, especially as a lefty, but because of the badassery of it, I just kind of am overlooking those things. This Tanto blade is just absolutely gorgeous. It is super badass. It looks deadly. And in most cases, that's not something I'm into, but this just, I don't know. It just speaks to me somehow. The action is phenomenal. I did put a little KPL in here after I got it, but it's very smooth, drops shut with just a little shake at the top there. I actually like the G10. It's not super aggressive. Would I want full titanium? Yeah, probably. I really do like the one that Jake Bearded Gear has. I think I misspoke in a previous video and I said he had this G10 version with a black blade, DLC blade, but he actually has a blacked out version. It's black anodized titanium with the DLC blade. So he does have a titanium one, but I actually like that this reduces the weight a little bit. The other one's just a little bit heavy for me, for my liking. So this is kind of the best of both worlds here. So I like the G10. I said I really like the blade. It has this awesome hollow grind right here and then a flat grind on up to the tip here. It's a really cool compound grind. It actually comes down to a very thin edge and it is very slicey, sorry. So all of those things are good. The thumb stud action's good. Detents, you know, it's good. It's still a little strong for my liking, but I prefer that on this knife because it really shoots out. I can Spidey flick it. Now, the downsides for me, well, one more plus side is the clip. This clip is so good looking. This is what drew me to the knife, the blade and this clip. I don't know what it is. I'm not into carrying stuff with skulls. Like, I don't have a chain wallet, but like, I just love this skull. The clip is awesome. It doesn't carry that great, but it looks cool. It definitely functions. It has good retention. It stays in pocket. That's not a problem. It's just kind of big, you know. So the couple of little things, not little things, the couple of issues I have with this knife, again, these are things I'm overlooking, is it's a little bit boxy, the rectangular shape, it's a little bit sharp on these edges, all of them pretty much. So when you're going in pocket, you can scratch yourself up a little. I definitely recommend not carrying this in a pocket with anything else. I usually carry my knife in my front left pocket, and the only things in there is like chapstick or something. My phone is in my front right, so I have a dedicated knife pocket. But even then, I don't carry this there. I carry this in my back left pocket for two reasons. One, it helps with the whole boxy, sharp thing, because I'm not going to be reaching in that pocket for anything. So the only thing I go in for is this. And then because it's right hand only, in my back left pocket, it sits with the blade against the seam. So I have no, I have no worries about it. Not that I would anyway, because of the detent and it has thumb studs. But the clip is good retention, but it is a little bit awkward when you're going in and out of pocket because of the thumb studs that are sitting just a touch proud. The thumb studs sit a touch proud here, and when you go in and out of pocket, they tend to catch a little bit. So it's not the best in terms of that. And then the lock bar pressure issue is one of the big ones. I really have to pay attention when I'm trying to Spidey flick. I have to make sure my thumb is nowhere near that lock bar. And then it's kind of awkward. I don't get a ton of power behind the middle finger, but if I flick it a little, you know, I can get it out and it's fine. But I'm always paying attention to that lock bar pressure. And there are occasions where I put some kind of pressure on it somehow, and I'm sitting there like messing my thumb up. And then the last little nitpick would be, why not just make this a finger choil, right? I mean, you could easily have extended that a little bit. You already have a long enough blade, and then you would have a really nice choil here to choke up on. I would have loved that. Maybe it doesn't go with the design. I really love the Tanto as opposed to the newer Liberation drop points. I don't mind the older ones with the Tanto or drop point they almost look identical anyway. But the longer bladed one with the drop point, it just doesn't look right to me somehow. Like the dimensions are off or something. I don't know. So that's just a quick rundown of my first thoughts on this. I'm really liking it. Had it in pocket for 3 days or so. You know, you have to kind of treat it like a special case. You know, it goes in a different pocket. You have to pay attention when you're doing things. But because it's such a badass knife, it doesn't bother me. I overlook those things. So that's it, guys. I will catch up with you soon. I hope you have a fantastic day. Stay sharp.